Well, hello everyone. This is Robin Carter. Let me make sure the mic's going. Looks like it's good. This is Robin Carter, and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator out of Flower Mound, Texas. And today I'm here to share my second set of alternative cards using the May Paper Pumpkin Kit called The Best There Is. So hopefully you have received your kit by now, and if not, then be patient because they are on their way out. And I hope you've enjoyed my first set of alternatives. But before we begin, let me thank those of you that have subscribed to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support. We're at a little over 3,100, and I've set a short-term goal to hopefully get to 3,500 soon to meet my long-term goal of 5,000 subscribers for the year. So if you can be a part of that, I would really appreciate if you would hit the subscribe button below. Maybe you're new, or maybe you've watched a few but have yet to subscribe. I would really appreciate you helping me out to meet my goals. So also, before I switch to hands down, I want to remind everyone there's a great promotion going on right now if you would like to sign up as a new demonstrator. Now these can be you want to start a business or maybe just be a hobby demonstrator, and I would love to have you as part of my team. There will be a link to my blog in this YouTube description, and there I will share more information of what it's all about. But for May, you can get additional free product for $99. You get to choose $135 products of your choice. Shipping is free. And then you also get a set of the new in color products. So if you're interested in that, reach out to me or follow my blog where you can see exactly what's included. So let me switch to hands down real quick, and we will get started with these alternatives. I also wanted to switch to hands down before I gave the promotion information for June. So going on now is the Paper Pumpkin subscription period for June, and I have that right here. So it's going to be called Life is Sweet. I think you can see that right here. It is going to be a card kit. The intended kit is meant to make 9 cards, 3 of 3 different designs, and 9 coordinating envelopes. And here's the colors here. And one cool thing is we're going to be getting one of the new in colors as an ink spot called Shy Shamrock. So if you are new and do not have a demonstrator, I would love for you to subscribe through me for your Paper Pumpkin kits. Some perks that my Paper Pumpkin subscribers get are a little sleeve to store their stamps in. I haven't made the one for this month, but here's an old oldie of one that we're going to be using today. I'm going to use the little birds out of this one. So you'll get a little sleeve where you can store your Paper Pumpkin stamp sets. You also get a little 1-inch square of coordinating cardstock for the ink spot for that kit. That way you can store all your inks upside down, and this is how I store mine. I have these old clamshell boxes that our wood stamps used to come in, and you can see here I have an ink spot on the bottom so I can store them upside down so the ink's always on top. So you receive that, as well as a PDF of my alternatives. Now, sometimes there's a few mistakes, and I try to correct those as soon as possible. I always say refer to my videos first, and then the PDF will come as I make the alternatives, with a final one including all of them at the end of the month. So don't miss out on that subscription period. And if you do not have a demonstrator on my store, which is, there's a description of where you can find that there, my online store, look under specials, and there will be a link to where you can subscribe to YouTube. And there's also the current host code, which I also have here if you do not already have a demonstrator and find any of these products you would like to purchase. All right, so let's begin. All the blab is over with. So I'm going to start out with something I hardly ever do. And so this is going to be just a real quick. I did make this card as designed, but of course I cut off the back part so I could use this wood on the other side to make an alternative. So by the way, if you didn't notice, we have this little stamp right here. And I did actually look in the instructions, and they kind of went over these leaves with that. Now, I had the coordinating colors for these, so I did it in the coordinating color of Pool Party and Wild Wheat. I don't know how it would look with Misty Moonlight, but so that's my alternative for that card, is I just use the coordinating ink colors. But I have used this side for a fun alternative I want to share with you today, and my grid sheet is moving all over the place. Okay, so what you will need, I always put my cards on a thick white card base. Okay, and then I have a piece of the new Basic Beige. It's a basic color that's brand new with this catalog. I was kind of unsure about it, but it's becoming one of my favorite neutrals to use. You will need the blue card base, at least 1/2, and I'm going to share something about this circle. So, and then of course the wooden piece that you're going to cut your circles from, and I've already cut some here to work that out. So if you follow my alternatives, there will be, you would have made this card. However, I've already made 2, and I did realize, so this is my 3rd one I have to do yet, that you can cut this blue circle out of this card base if you want to conserve your card bases. So I have only cut 1. These 2 I didn't cut out, so I had to sacrifice more of another base for mine. And so you just want to kind of line up that piece. I did use the die. Let's see, the words have left me. It's the radiating die stitches, or radiating stitches dies. So kind of line that up here, and then you'll know where you can cut out that circle to save on your card bases. So just a little tidbit if you haven't made those yet. Okay, so I fell back onto a layout that I like to use often. It tends to work well, and it tends to work well for these gender neutral cards. Okay, so before we adhere this is a basic beige piece that's 4 1/8 this way by 5 3/8 this way. And then I embossed it with the Painted Textures 3D embossing folder. You can see right here. This has been around for quite a while, so maybe you have this in your stash. And the item number for this is 153317 if you would like to add that. And I just find it gives a very generic background that's good for a lot of cards. It just adds texture and interest without being just a plain solid piece. Okay, now we did not receive twine in this kit, but we have for several kits. So if you've been a Paper Pumpkin subscriber for a while, you probably have some twine in your kit. So we're going to do that here. Now I like to just use a part of it and tape it down. So that way I can get, and I just moved my camera. Sorry about that. I like to just use this and tear and tape so that I can put it exactly where I want the twine versus trying to fiddle with it afterwards. So just get some tear and tape, and we've also had tear and tape in our kits lately, so maybe you have some of that left as well. Always have to find where it starts. So I just put some here along the side, and I cut a piece here, tear off the backing. And I'm going to do 2 pieces, but let's just get the first one down first. And then I'm going to share how on one of them we're going to add a knot. So not a bow, because if you want to send this to maybe a brother or your dad, then my husband says no bows on cards to his brother. So my technique here is a ribbon saving technique I have, and let me show you. You want to use something that's round, and if you have a measuring tape, you want to measure around the circumference of that to make sure it's wide enough to cover your cards. Now I have an old glue bottle that I have saved, even though it's empty, because I know it's big enough to fit all the way across there. So here's what you want to do. You could also use medicine bottles. I've used those before. They work great. So you want to start with your ribbon, or in this case twine, and go around. And we're just going to make a knot this time. So this is going to be much easier than the bow. So just kind of make your knot like that. Take it off, and you can see it's still attached to the whole twine piece here. And then cut it off. And then if you want your knot in the middle, you'll cut it right down the side. I want mine more on the left-hand side, so I cut that just a little off to the left. Now don't get your tails and your where you cut it off mixed up. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this one shorter. I probably should have done that before I took it off the glue bottle there. Then I'm just going to attach this here and there. So now we have our 2 pieces of twine just for some interest on the card. And now we can glue it on our thick white card base. So I do love the multi-purpose liquid glue that I have here in a fine tip glue bottle. Now I haven't shared yet that I have a set of products that I call my favorite things. So if you're new to my channel, you've heard of, or you haven't heard of it, I like to share it anyway. So my favorite things are items that Stampin' Up! Does not sell that I like to use in organizing my craft supplies. One of those you saw just a minute ago was this big sleeve that I store all my paper pumpkin components in. So this is a 9x7, and I have other ones that I share, like this one right here is a 5x7. Excuse me, did I say this is 5x? This is 7x9. Anyway, I am an Amazon affiliate, and I'm required to tell you that if you use the links that I provide in the description box of this video, I get a few pennies back at no cost to you just for recommending these products. So if you have used those links in the past, thank you so much. And if you plan to use them, thank you for supporting me. I find it's a great way to organize. You don't have to store everything in those thick boxes. So here's our base, and then here's what I wanted to do. So I told you I was going to cut circles out of that. And the one I'm going to show you that I made first uses a different set of products. But this is the Spotlight on Nature die. Now, unfortunately, when it was free shipping, this went unavailable for a while. But I did look. It is back. So the bundle number for that, my little sticker came off, is 163581, and I have my annual catalog here as well, so I can show you what page it's on. And it's on page 69 of the Stampin' Up! Annual Catalog for 2024-2025. So it's a great set. I actually was able to pre-order that when I went to convention in Houston, and we had our after hours time to play with whatever bundle you chose. And I chose this one because I knew I would love these dies. So what you're going to want to do is, like I said, cut out the blue piece there. If you haven't made that alternative, you can cut it out of the center or just start cutting from another piece. I did choose this design that just has some stitching on it. I thought it was pretty gender neutral, so I used that one, and then I used the next largest one to cut an early espresso piece. And then I also cut a wooden piece out of the wooden base, same size. And then we're going to use the tree from the kit that has the tree stamp on there. I just love the tree stamp we received in this kit. But last time I pre-stamped my own. This time I'm going to use the ones in the kit because we can use all the products. Alright, so like I said, it's a simple design I use a lot, and I am going to mount this on this early espresso one. just because I think it helps it stand out. That kind of doesn't stand out very well, so I'm going to add that there. Just kind of in the center. All right, and then I said I've cut out a piece here, and I've cut a piece from the wood piece. Now, let me show you a hint. So I actually, maybe hard to tell, I did cut it a little close to the edge, so that edge is not completely circular, but no problem. I'm going to put that on my card so that it hides that when I put the other one on. So let's put this down flat. Okay, and I want to put my Misty Moonlight card base flat. I want more of that to show. Let's see. I'll do it like that. Okay, and then we're going to use dimensionals to put this on. So this is going to be a quick card, but I really like the design. You can make several with this. Now you will have just 3 with the piece here, but this right here background is the same as our envelopes. So you can make lots of those if you're willing to sacrifice some envelopes. All right, so let's put that there. Now I don't need more than what I've already made of Father's Day cards, which I haven't shared yet. So I wanted some more masculine birthday cards. So I chose to use a birthday sentiment. And one is in a stamp set called Something Fancy. So it's very basic type here for happy birthday. So it's not real feminine. So I also think that a piece of very vanilla cardstock goes out. Now, if you heard that, we're having a little thunderstorm here in the area, which I'm always thankful for the rain when we receive it, but I didn't want that to stop my video. I think it's just a light thunderstorm. Nothing's real severe. Anyway, back to this. So I chose the Happy Birthday from this stamp set. I am going to use the Misty Moonlight for this, just to bring in some more interest. And this is very vanilla cardstock, by the way. It's just a scrap that I had sitting around. And I'm going to do my best to do this straight. So I can tell it's kind of at the top of my rubber right there. And I'm going to trim this down anyway, if it doesn't. Well, that's actually pretty straight. Sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. So I would use my Stamparatus usually, but not. I thought I would just give this a whirl. So I'm just going to trim this off about here because I'm going to flag the sides. I want it a little smaller, so I'm going to do my best just to freehand cut this sort of straight. Now I have an old punch, this little flag punch that I like to use for flagging things. You can freehand this, but I had this around and it helps it get it real centered. So you can pull it through there and flag that end, and then do the same thing with this end. By the way, you can manipulate your punches by making them bigger or smaller using this technique. So, okay, so I flagged that. Let's get this out of the way and all my little scraps out of the way. And then I'm going to adhere this here. I just liked how the very vanilla stood out even different than the background. So let's get our multi-purpose glue out. And I'm just going to attach that right there. So that is my alternative using the wood. Someone mentioned that she likes that with early espresso because it looks like a wood burning technique, and I didn't even think of that, but it does. It looks like you've kind of burnt an image onto the trees. So, like I said, I did keep that one just like my other one. The original one, just like they did it in the kit. But I wanted to share, I also made this card ahead of time using the stitched rectangle die. So you know, it doesn't have to be these dies. Maybe you just have punches around. You could easily use a variety of punches there. This uses the stitched rectangles die. So look around in your stash and see what you have. I always like to give people alternatives in case they have that product, because you've used your good hard work money to purchase supplies. So I like you to use what you have. So here is that alternative, and like I said, the other one I just did pretty much like they said. I just used the coordinating ink to make this card base. So this has been a fairly quick video for me. I do have a few more to share. You know what, maybe we'll just go ahead and do the next one because it's pretty quick too. So this fun little base here that we received, or card front that we received in our kit, I really didn't want to manipulate it a lot, but I always thought it's more interesting to cut it or do something. So let me get out my trimmer here. And so what I did with this is I cut it into thirds. Now thirds, after I measured it and kind of divided by 3, it pretty much works out to 1 3/16. So the 16th is the smallest little notch on your trimmer. So you can use this side or the other side. So 1 2 3/16 off this side. Okay, and I'm going to turn it just because I want 3/16 off the other end, and then that way the ends will be exactly the same, and this, if the center is a little off, it'll be fine. Okay, so there's our 3 pieces. Now, of course, I don't have that little piece ready to go, so I need a new little card base. By the way, these 9x13s are great for storing pre-made card bases, so I score and then cut my own. So you can see here there's 2. I score first at 4 1/4 and then cut at 5 1/2, and that gives me 2 card bases from 1 piece of cardstock. And then I use my bone folder to give that a nice burnish so that it stays more flat. Now for this piece, I need a Misty Moonlight piece, so let me go grab that. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back, and I have a 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 piece of Misty Moonlight that I've used the same painted texture 3D embossing folder with. And so we're going to use that as a card front, but again, I want to add some twine for interest. So let's first put our pieces on there, and we'll do those over the top. So you just want to make sure you get them in the right order again. And that's not right. There we go. And then we're going to glue these to the center of the card piece. Now here's what I like to use my grid paper for. I center up this Misty Moonlight where the 0 is in the center. You can see it hangs just a hair off of the 2-inch marks. And then I got my multi-purpose liquid glue. Okay, and then I'm going to put that in the center the best I can. And by doing this, I can follow the little guidelines here to get it about 2 inches on each side. Now I also have my T-ruler that I love to use, and this is part of my favorite things. So if you set that there, once you get it, oops, and it wasn't quite stuck, you can make sure that it's straight. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm going to push it down a little bit, and now it decides to dry. Let me put some more glue. I'm making this harder than it really is, but I like it to look nice. So, get my T-ruler, and it appears to be straight. All right, and then we're going to put our other 2 pieces. And for these, I just kind of eyeball equal distance between the 2. And then the same thing with the left-hand side. Okay, just like that. And then, like I did before, I want to do some twine. So let me get my glue bottle tip on there. All right, so I'm going to do the same technique, although this time I'm not going to do a bow. So let me just flip that over, get my tear and tape back out. You got a bonus card. So, like I said, this kit isn't going to be quite as crazy as the last kit. The last kit I made 59 cards, and that didn't even include, I think I only cut 3 envelopes apart, and then I decided I had plenty of cards. So I actually used some of the envelopes as cards, and I put that on the wrong side. I should have looked at that. I want it at the top. So you guys, if you've watched me, you know I like to keep my videos real. So if I mess up, I just show ways to fix it. This wasn't really a mess up, just a wrong side. But I am going to have to be careful if I set it down. So that's where the silicone mat comes in great, because you can set it down and it won't get stuck to your grid paper. All right, so let's just wrap that around, cut it. And then this one I'm going to start at the top. Just to crisscross them. Just gives it a little interest. Okay, now we can attach it to our thick white card base. I'm going to use my multi-purpose glue, and even though I have a lot of tear and tape, I like to make sure it is going to stay down with my multi-purpose liquid glue. And this is where I don't get wiggle room because I have tear and tape on it. So I need to make sure I get it pretty straight to start with. Just not press down hard. And then once you get it pretty straight, you can press down. Now, this was going to be my Father's Day sentiment. And let me share with you that if you purchase the last month's, this is this month's dies. By the way, I didn't say that. This month has a set of coordinating dies called Thanks and Beyond. There are some great dies here. The butterfly was wonderful. So if you missed my alternatives with that kit, they're in my YouTube channel. Click on my videos. If you click videos, then they'll list them in date order versus just however, when you first go to my homepage, YouTube kind of scrambles them up. But if you click on videos, then they'll be in date order, and you can see how I use this as well as the thanks. It's a great, nice, big sentiment. You can see it there. But if you also purchase last month's set of dies, it's called the Love of Spring dies. And I believe these are still available. And the item number for it is 163396. And it had a great label die in it, right here, that has some stitching in it. So I found that it fit perfectly the Father's Day sentiment in this kit. So I have a pre-die cut label here. I like to get my Pierce mat, Stampin' Pierce mat, because they are photopolymer. And then here's the Happy Father's Day to You stamp. And I am going to use Misty Moonlight. I like that color a lot. Here it is. It's about to fall off my desk over there. So this is a great little label. Now, obviously, we received labels in the kit. I tend to use other labels at first, just so I don't run out of those. And but feel free to use the label in the kit. I just thought I'd share that this does fit those if you are making more alternatives. Okay, that's a good impression there. And get my card back. And so I'm going to put it right up here with dimensionals, of course. And by the way, the large dimensionals I cut in half just to help stretch my supplies. I still use plenty, but I find half supports that as well. And I'm going to put this right over the top of my twine. Now, I said I was going to use the birds, and I should have done it before, but I think this will be smooth enough. I do have the little birds from that stamp set I showed you. The You Are My Anchor. Now, you could just use pins if you don't have this and just do little swooshes, but I have that stamp, and I like to show how your paper pumpkin kits are a great value because of the stamps, if nothing else, because you can use those over and over again. So let me get out a little block and get that stamp for you. Okay, so here is the little bird stamp. Now, these kind of stamps, you never want to take them off a block until you put them back in their place, or they go missing pretty easily. So I thought I would use Early Espresso for this. I'm just going to ink that up, and let's put them coming in through the mountains. Now, there was a set of birds sooner than this. It's just 2 birds, though. But anyway, like I said, I just think that adds a little interest. And if you don't have these, you could easily just take a brown marker and do some little swooshes for birds. But anyway, this is my Father's Day card I was telling you that I made. And here's the first one, pretty much just like it. All right, so now I've shared 3 of my alternatives for you today. So pretty easy Father's Day cards. And then I have this design that I shared. And then, like I said, I did keep this front pretty much like the kit. So I hope you've enjoyed these alternatives. Let me clear this up and switch back to me. So thanks for joining me today, everyone. The best compliment you can give me is a thumbs up on this video, and you can share it with your other paper crafting friends. I appreciate you watching and your time with me today. So until my next video, I hope to share at least one more video of alternatives. I hope everyone has a great weekend. Again, thanks for joining me, everyone. Bye-bye.